There are very few instances in which a time rounding policy is going to be found lawful. There's not really a justification for rounding. You are shorting people their time. The law has shifted over the years. It's just not something that you want to be doing. A lot of employers that I talk to, they'll swear up and down, we're not doing any type of rounding, but they'll dig into the timekeeping system and there is some type of rounding. You might not believe this, but some of the payroll providers have default rounding built in. I don't know how this happens, but a lot of these payroll providers are not based in California. And so you owe it to yourself from a risk management perspective to at least check. Make it a task. Have somebody go back, do a spot check of your punch and your pay records going back 4 years and make sure that everybody has been paid to the second. We kind of see some unintentional rounding. Let's say the start time on a job is 8 o'clock. And so the rule is to make sure that people aren't getting paid early. So maybe there's not traditional rounding, like you clock in at 7:58 and it rounds you up at 8. But if the timekeeping system only lets them clock in at 8, that's a form of rounding. You have to be careful about stuff like this. If they're doing work and trying to make money before their scheduled time, that's a discipline issue. But you as the employer can't choose not to pay them for that time. Law in California, if they show up and they do work, you need to pay them for that. Let's talk about why rounding is such a big deal. It might not sound like a big deal because it can seem pretty silly, but let's say somebody clocks in at 7:59 for an 8 o'clock shift and they start working. California requires absolute pay to the minute. So you've got a violation for that 1 minute of time that you didn't pay them for. But let's say that they ended up working from 7:59 to 5 o'clock and it would have been 8 hours and 1 minute. Well, not only did you short them a minute, but then that would have pushed them into overtime. And California also requires the payment of overtime over 8 hours in 1 day to the minute. So you've got 2 violations right there, but you've also got a third violation because the overtime rate and the proper pay rate is supposed to be on their pay stub or their wage statement. So then you've got yourself into a wage statement violation. And guess what? California doesn't stop there. If that employee leaves your company, you are obligated to give them their accurate final wages, but you shorted them a minute. The paycheck was not accurate. And so you owe them something called waiting time penalties, which is 30 days of pay. So rounding by 1 minute is 4 separate penalties. That should be enough to convince any employer that rounding is not a good idea.